Hello people of YouTube and welcome back. So we are now at the second and conclusion to the pickups from Craig's here again. So yeah, if you've not seen the first lot, I'm sure you'll be able to, I think you figure out how to find that. But yeah, I think a definite must watch maybe. I'm maybe very biased in that one because all of them are very hand-picked games by myself. But yeah, we've got another belting pickups here, if not better. Really is not. You just cannot get the finest games anywhere, I don't think. Well, that's saying that. There's one here that's maybe a bit of a stinker. I don't know. See what you think. Tell me different. But yeah, anyway, we're going to go through it all then, shall we? So we're going to go oldest to newest, as we normally do. 8-bit to 16 to, I don't know, more modern PS2. Only one PS2 this time though. Is it all shooters? Yeah, it's all shooters. So if you're not into your shooters, please look away now. However, if you like your interest in Japanese box art, then you're gonna get it in spades. There's one game that's very well, a couple of traditional games people know of very much. And yeah, let's go for it then, shall we? So we are going to stick in with the first game, which if I showed you it, it probably looks like something I picked up on the last pickups, and it is Spriggan Mark II. So this is a sequel to the first game. In fact, I've not got it ready, but yeah, if you look, these covers are very similar, and I never knew which one was which. Fortunately, he had both of them at the same time, so I was like easy to be able to recognize which one I needed because I needed them both. Whereas this is called Mark II. However, I don't think this shares anything in common with the original. The original one plays more like a Leste. This one plays more like a mech shooter. I'm trying to think what it might be more akin to. But yeah, this one is a side-scrolling game as opposed to the vertical. So a bit more like Gradius. However, instead of flying a ship, you're flying a big mech. So it's sort of like a person stood up. Which, yeah, it's not as good, I don't think. There's a lot more cutscenes in here. It's not as much gameplay heavy. It is got a lot of gameplay. I have actually played this game. I had a dodgy copy. I always assumed Mark II, this will be the better game. But then looking back, found out that is definitely the original is the better game. That being said, it's still a cool game and it's awesome to have. Craig did me a cracking deal on this. He was like, the cover is a little bit not perfect. The manual is, compared to the rest of the games that I've got from Craig, a little bit more 6 out of 10. Maybe is probably the best way to say it. That being said, it doesn't look that bad. It's fine. I mean, if you look on here, you'll be fine with it. Yeah, so this unfortunately doesn't have, I'm pretty certain you can't change into a plane. A lot of these you can usually change between the two forms and you've got your benefits of both. Unfortunately, this is a bit more basic, and yeah, because of it, it sort of suffers a little bit. Cool game to definitely experience, but yeah, I'm definitely going for a full PC Engine shooter set. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I'm actually not far off now. I've only got, I think it's 13 shooters left to get after all of these. So yeah, crazy. Next up, we have got Violent Soldier. So this is a hue card. This is actually one I've owned before, but I only had the hue card because originally I was only going to go for a sort of like a hue card only set. So yeah, I think I even played this when I picked it up. I think, I can't remember, maybe because I was doing a bit of pick up and plays. Probably will do that again in the future. Yeah, this is I love the art style of this one. This is sort of like Salamander meets R-Type. R-Type being you have a little bit of a shield. Different this time where it's above and beyond, below you, so you can use that shield to sort of like clear enemies out at a pinch. Probably not a good idea to rely on it, but yeah, it's cool to have. And then Salamander, because he's sort of like an intestinal, sort of like gross sort of world, sort of like very much akin to what's on the front here. Unfortunately, the hue card ones don't have anything on the back, but yeah, this this is a cool game, definitely one to have. I find this absolutely changes. The price for this can go skyrocketing quite high, or then like really low. It's one of them that I think people just don't talk about enough. So you've got to have the right buyer or right seller, whatever, at the right time to get the right price or whatever. But yeah, this is a cool one to have, and I can't wait to finally get the full artwork into my collection, because this is a stellar game. Really cool, really cool. And then the next one, this one's a bit more of a pricey one. Not like super expensive like some of them, but definitely high up there. Well, not high up there, but higher up. And it's Dead Moon. Yeah, so this one is one I wasn't sure if I had or not, so I was kind of umming and ahhing of picking this up. Problem is, I don't do lists. I always like take pictures of the spines, and with PC Engine, we don't have an English side like the Sega Saturn. With the Sega Saturn, you've got an English side and a Japanese side, so easy to sort of like sort of find from there. But yeah, Dead Moon is another sort of like well, an unusual sort of like game. It's sort of like, it's got like sort of a very cliche sort of like borderline average gameplay. However, the visuals sort of like make up for this. Again, you have sort of like gross sort of like stages. You're on the moon, but there's a lot of like parallax scrolling in it. It's sort of like very beautiful to see. Maybe a bit average. I always see mixed reviews on this. Is this a good game? Is it a bad game? But yeah, again, another Hue Card one. Unfortunately, I didn't have this one, so that was really cool. I mean, Craig said just sell it on if I do have it, but no, I don't. I've got it, so, and it's now in the collection. And yeah, we're nearly there with the PC Engine set. So next up, is this a shooter? Is it not? I don't know. You tell me guys, is this a shooter? So this one was a lot more, surprisingly more expensive than I thought. When I first went over, I was like, I saw the price that he had on the box, and I was like, wow, I'm not getting that, because this is like a 10-15 quid game and pal. But yeah, I later went on, and he priced it up really fair, but then he knocked a few quid off, because he's a good guy like that, and probably because I always buy big from him. And it is Merks 2. So yeah, this is again a game that everyone knows of. However, the cover looks so much different in the PAL territories, and this is so cool, so cool. Yeah, definitely a must-own game, whether it be on PAL or Japanese. Depends on where you go, which way you go in with your collecting. But yeah, this one is it a shooter? It's more of a run and gun, sort of commando style. I always call them commando games. These kind of games. In fact, Merks is, I think, part of the commando line of games, isn't it? I'm pretty certain. I'm certain this is a Capcom game. I'm being stupid here. I'm sure this is Capcom, but yeah, it doesn't say Capcom on the back. So this, yeah, it does say Capcom on the back in very small fine print. I always find that quite amusing with a lot of Japanese games. The developer isn't really highly emblazoned on the covers, but yeah, it comes with a manual. The manual's really sort of like plain, but kind of like sort of stands out really well because of it. Again, great copy. This is a really good copy, and yeah, really pleased to get this into the collection. Next up, wow, I never thought I'd get this. Craig always used to tease this game every time I came over, because he knew I love the franchise. However, it's on a system that I'll never ever own, and don't have any plans to do so. But God, Craig did a great price on this, because neither of us can test to see if it works, and there is reason that it could not work, and it's Parodius on the X68000. So yeah, this is an absolute beast of a game, but oh my goodness, look at that cover. That is fantastic. Oh my goodness, yeah. So this is a Japanese PC. A lot of your arcade games that you really love today, especially Capcom games, Sega games, were all designed or developed on a 68000. Probably more akin to an Amiga, but then a bit more powerful still. But yeah, these games come on floppy disks, and I've got to open it up because this is, I mean, I've not really seen anyone show these off, but yeah, this is a very unique kind of box. Got Konami at the bottom, flips open like this. Awesome manual, but this is where, to me, it gets really, oh, I can't get them out, really cool. The games come on floppy disks. Proper floppy disks. What are these, 5.5 inch? Yeah, Parodius on a floppy disk. That's something I never thought I would ever have. Yeah, so I believe it's just the Parodius that we got on the Super Famicom. I actually don't really know. I should do, shouldn't I? I've spent, even though Craig sold me this for absolutely nothing, it was still not like crazy cheap, I suppose. Well, it was crazy cheap, to be fair. But yeah, we've got a nice manual as well. I mean, PC gamers always were one step above us, wasn't they? Look at that. This is just something else. Yeah, even though I can't play this game, I'm going to enjoy just the contents of this and the artwork that is on the box. Yeah, it's worth the money I spent and then some. So yeah, I think this is Jiku Parodius, the second one, the first one on the Super Famicom. Fantastic game. Definitely a must play for anyone into that. Play on the Super Famicom, it is good enough. Saturn one obviously is better, but for me, I've got the nostalgia on that. So again, thanks for that, Craig. Next up, a game I need to put more time into. When I first started collecting Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, I got this game, and again, it was a fairly reasonably priced game. I think it's probably about 20-30 quid back then. It's probably worth a bit more now. The Japanese one, again, is worth a lot more. I'm pretty certain I paid an eye-watering amount for this. I can't really remember. I was just like, Craig, I need them games, just put them in my pile and then work out a price. Because again, not only am I going for the PC Engine shooter set, I'm going for the Super Famicom one. I've got most of the heavy hitters now, so it's quite doable. Going to cost still a fair amount. There's one in particular that's going to be quite a lot. I think that's Spriggan, another Spriggan game. Not a fantastic game, but yeah, Mega Drive, I doubt I'll ever get a full set of that one. There's too many heavy hitters on that one. But anyway, I digress. What game is it that I picked up? And it is Super EDF, Earth Defense Force. EDF. Yeah, so I picked this up ages ago, and I guess I wasn't too good at shooters back then. I always found it really bland. That first stage is very long, and it's just a sky stage, so it's just like clouds going past. Really beautifully animated, but very boring at the same time. And I always found it overly difficult. And because of that, it kind of went a bit bland. But I believe once you get past that first stage, it opens up into a lot better game. And I need to put, now I own it. Now I've spent some decent amount on it. It's all complete. I don't know why I need to show you that, but we do in this day and age, don't we? But yeah, I need to put some more time into this and enjoy it for what it is. So thanks for that, Craig. Thanks for adding games that I've kind of like long forgotten. So this one comes in a protector, and that is because it's a bloody expensive game. One, I was quite surprised at how expensive it is. In fact, this is no, it's not the most expensive Super Famicom game that I've got here, but it's one, yeah, again, an eye-watering amount. I've always seen this previously on the American Super Nintendo. Did we get it over here? I don't think we did. I can't remember. Anyway, the American one is the one that people know because it's got a hillbilly just sitting on a rocker eating a bit of straw. However, it's a space shooter, and the Japanese cover kind of shows you more of what the game actually is, and it's phalanx. So everyone knows of that silly cover. I might even put a screenshot of it because it's worth a giggle, isn't it? But yeah, this game, because of that, I just thought it was a novelty game. I didn't think it was as good a game as it was, and yeah, I played this a couple of years ago on the EverDrive, and yeah, this is a really good game. However, I always find that the bullets were a little bit small to see. This is also on the Game Boy, and again, I don't know how you can play this on the Game Boy with them such small bullets. That is crazy. But this is an absolutely tour de force. The graphics are fantastic on this game, and yeah, I think a lot of us always miss this game because of that silly bloody cover, thinking it is novelty, and it's not. This is a fantastic game. Yeah, one that I'm now I own it. Now I'm all set up. I can't wait until I start having like little nights where I'm just going to just play one game a weekend and put some proper time into it and see if I can 1cc them, which won't happen, but at least it's fun trying, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, let's put that back in the old box protector. Next up, again, I've been kind of on and off, sort of like actively looking for one that it's sort of like got out of my grasp many times, but because I was getting such a big bundle deal, I was like, Craig, put this in. I need to get it now. I need to get it now. It's now or never. And it is Darius Force for the Super Famicom. So yeah, I'm pretty much certain this is its own game. Again, I've played it, but like it's not really stuck in my. Even though I've been on the hunt for this more than I've actually done any research for it. Again, it's one of them games that I wanted just to play. And I think all of us who collect sort of all have a Darius game in our collection somewhere. They're so abundant. However, this one seems to be different to that fact. This one is very hard to get. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a crap Darius game, but that cover tells me something different. I just love the sort of the sea graphics, and that, in fact, that's another thing I forgot to mention. That Dead Moon has got like fish bosses in it, just like this one does. So yeah, this one's a really cool one to get. Really good stage presence. It looks definitely a rip off of Jaws, that, doesn't it? So yeah, Darius Force, fantastic. Warning, as you do when you're about to see one of the ships. Now, this is the most expensive Super Famicom game I have ever bought. I don't know why I've done it, but alas, here it is in the collection. And it's funny because me and Craig have been talking about me owning this game for quite numerous years. It's just, I don't think we've ever seen one sell. I've owned a loose copy of this for the longest time. And I was like, that's it. I'm happy with just the loose copy because the box costs hundreds just for the box upgrade alone. Never mind the whole thing. But yeah, I bought another copy of Biometal on the Super Famicom. So yeah, this is an average game. To be honest, I mean, when you look at the graphics, they are actually pretty outstanding. Again, it's one of them games that's kind of got a boring start. This again is famous for having 2 Unlimited as the soundtrack. It's got that. Yeah, you know the one. Not doing that again. But that's in the soundtrack of the American one, and maybe the PAL one as well. But yeah, unfortunately, the Japanese one doesn't have it. It's still a pretty cool soundtrack, I've got to say, but it's just not the soundtrack everyone goes to this game for. The cover is kind of pretty cool. It's kind of like you wouldn't know that's a shooter if you saw that. But yeah, really cool to have this. I mean, Jesus Christ, I think this is the most expensive Super Famicom game I've ever bought. Even the price that I think I paid, like I said, even though I think Craig did me a great deal, yeah, I still need to sell my loose copy to sort of pay myself back for this a little bit. So once I do, I'll maybe financially recover. But yeah, really cool to get into the collection. This is the last big hitter that I need for my Super Famicom collection, to be honest. Well, I'll say that as a couple. There are always expensive ones, but just not as expensive as that one. And talking about expensive, here we go. We're on the big hitter. We are on the big hitter. This is a PS2 game. This is a game that is the most I've ever spent on a PS2 game. even after the discount that Craig gave me. This is the most I've ever spent on a PS2 game, and I don't collect PS2 anymore. But when he offered it, I was like, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to, again, now or never. If I don't now, then I probably won't ever again. I probably will, but it's here in my collection now, and I've been playing it quite a few times, and it is fantastic. And the game is, in fact, I've played this quite a few times as the arcade version on my cabs, but played this on the PS2, and I don't know why I've not played it more. It is fantastic. It's Ibarra. So if you don't know what this game is, how do you not know? How do you not know? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. But yeah, this game is basically a spiritual successor to Battle Gregor. Basically, long and short of it, this is made by Cave. Battle Gregor was by Ryzen, Psycho Ryzen. So I believe the story goes, they all disbanded back in the day, and Cave took on a couple of the employees that was like the main people from Battle Gregor, and they was like, fuck it, let's make Battle Gregor 2, but obviously in a different company, so they had to rename it. So this is, obviously they had to change it a little bit, so there is like the little bit of a graphic overhaul. It doesn't, you wouldn't see these side by side and fully think that they are sort of related. This is Battle Gregor with maidens. And yeah, and it is just as brutally difficult as Battle Gregor, but I don't know, I think this is a lot better. So many people go on about Battle Gregor and not enough about Ibarra, and I think that might be because this kind of stuck on the PS2. PS2 sort of like is a bit of a weird system. Things sort of like don't get talked about as much. People go to the Sega Saturn, this Sega Saturn, that great for shooters, same as Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, but people don't really talk about PS2. And yeah, I think this is the only way you can get this. I don't think this ever made the 360, the leap to the 360, which again, very unusual. Released by Taito on the PS2, which is again quite unusual. Maybe that's why it's kind of stuck as a PS2 release. I don't know. Maybe they still own the rights. Maybe that'll come in the Taito collection later in the year. Who knows? That'll be nice to see this on the PS4, wouldn't it? But yeah, fantastic. Thanks for this, Craig. Honestly, like I've played this quite a lot. I showed some videos not recently, quite a while ago, of me playing it, and yeah, I don't know if people that actually twigged that I picked this up from Craig or not. But yeah, I love the art style of this. I've been having posters. I've not got them up here, but I had posters up in my old game room of this game because it is such a cool thing. And yeah, I don't know why I've always known this as a good game. But like I say, I've always played it. But I think once you own something and you've paid a significant amount, you sort of like have a bit more of a connection to games rather than just playing ROMs and stuff like that. So yeah, even though I'll play lots of my games EverDrive, I don't have any qualms for doing so. I don't think everyone should have to spend a lot of money on games, but like I say, sometimes that connection is really good to have. And yeah, thanks for this, Craig. Like I say, I can't stress it enough. Yeah, really appreciate that he's let me have some of these games that I've seen in his collection for years and been very jealous about. I've missed quite a few. I wasn't fast enough on some of them. Some of the Super Nintendo games that he did have, I've gone. But I've got some cracking ones, and like I say, Biometals is probably the one that was always on the top of my list of ones to get, and as well was always very jealous of Parodius, and even though I can't even play it. But yeah, anyway, that was the list of games. Again, very shooter heavy. My favourite style of genre. It's the games that I go back to and play the most. I think a lot of us as collectors maybe just put things on shelves and then forget about them. Shooters are definitely different than that to me. That's why I love them. They might cost a lot of money, but they have high replay value. So anyway, that's enough of me justifying my expensive outlays. I'll see you guys later on the next one. See you later, bye.